Welcome to the Elevate podcast. This series focuses on elevating and inspiring women and girls into or to remain in the tech sector from the classroom to the boardroom. I'm Kelly Kwarteng, founder and CEO of Helzac and host of the show. Thanks for joining us today on the Elevate Women in Tech podcast series. Today we meet the incredible Jennifer Dyer. Jennifer is a Black female founder who has been shaking up the tech scene for over 20 years. She's headed up 5 media and tech companies as CEO and is currently the co-founder and CEO of Yappa, a platform aiming to promote accountability in online commentary. But Jennifer doesn't stop there. She's also supporting the next generation of female founders through business coaching focused on raising capital. Drawing from her own experiences of raising capital, she created the Unsophisticated Bag to empower women with unconventional funding strategies, and is also the founder of E100 Clubs, an exclusive membership academy on a mission to provide a platform to empower aspiring entrepreneurs, business professionals and creators to learn and grow with the knowledge and skills needed to thrive in the ever-evolving world of entrepreneurship. Jennifer is a true pioneer, leveraging her decades of expertise to female entrepreneurs. So thanks a lot for joining us today, Jennifer, and it's great to have you on the show, and really looking forward to you sharing with the audience your insights on raising seed funding, which we know is huge, and really taking us through high net worth individuals, which I know you are an expert about. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Hey, Kelly, it's my pleasure. Elevate Women in Tech. I love it. I think it's great. We all need that support. You're doing a great job. So I'm absolutely delighted to be with you and your audience today.
Perfect. Well, if it's okay with you, let's just jump straight in and kind of...
Let's do it.
Start at the beginning. So you've set up multiple tech companies. As I mentioned, you've been involved in 5 different tech and media companies. Despite coming from a non-technical background, which for females raising funds is always one that when I speak to them, they struggle with, well, people don't want to invest in me because I've not got that technical background. So if it's okay with you, it would be great to hear maybe some of the challenges that you face when seeking VC or investment as a female founder of the many companies you've been involved with.
I mean, call me an entrepreneur, but a serial one, and I always say of all the many challenges as an entrepreneur, raising capital has been the most stressful and the most challenging of them all. And not just being a woman, but also being a Black woman, really, there were just so many barriers and just so much resistance in the room of VCs and raising capital. And I've come to learn across the years, Kelly, that it's really a cookie cutter type of click. VCs, they have a particular way in which they see women in tech, especially in tech. They have a particular view of how they want information to be presented, curated, and shared. And more importantly, their expectations for women in startups are just way too high and unrealistic. So you end up getting into situations that's dominated by men, which again, I found just really didn't help, because there's a disconnect between their reality, my reality as a woman, their experiences, my experiences. And so, I would go into these VC rooms and do my pitch, do my presentation. And then, the expectation, it was almost because if I don't hit that higher ground and meet those expectations, and they have that perfect excuse to say, well, I can't invest into you. And it's really hard when you're a woman and you're just starting out and you're going into these rooms with all of your pitch materials. But like I said, you're talking about a lot of these VCs are from Harvard, they're from Princeton, they're from Stanford. It's a really tight circle click. And usually it's by referral. It's by who you know. So you can't do a cold call. You can't send a cold email, because 90.9% of the time they are not going to return that. So you've got to really, really work hard to find somebody that can give you that introduction in the first place. So there are so many steps. You're selling from day one to try and get you into that room with that VC. And my experience is, after all of my trying, I've got that person to give me that person's name. Then I go into those rooms and become just so disappointed and just so deflated, because after all of that hard work to even get a meeting with you, you don't allow me the same opportunities as you would if I were a male CEO, or even if I was a male Caucasian CEO. I've just found the difference in response is just absolutely black and white, as they say.
I was just going to say that it was interesting that you say that, because speaking to female founders and female founders of colour that I've spoken to, that experience of going into those rooms is just so daunting for them. They pretty much know they're going into a room that's not going to be anybody that looks like them, that has had their lived experiences. And as you say, a lot of that VC dollar money, they already know pretty much where it's going to go. Have you come from one of those top universities? And if you have, then the money of is earmarked to go there. And you only have to look at some of the stats and the numbers as to how few checks are written to women, and then how even fewer checks are written to women of colour. So, your experiences and your knowledge that you can pass on, and obviously you're going to share today, I think are going to be amazing for people that are
absolutely
coming through.
Less than 2% of women are given venture capital money, Kelly, and roughly about 1.5% if you're Black women, to an extraordinary 25% to males, and so on and so forth. So we are really on the lower end of the stick. And like you just said, you go into these rooms, and somebody like me, I rarely find anybody across the table that looks like me, that can relate to a woman of color, or just a woman, because usually they are just all men. So you're nervous and you feel already alienated. And it's like you said, it can be very, very daunting. And that's why I decided to really work hard and create a whole new path in how to raise capital. I had enough.
And I think that would be a really great thing for us to talk about. So I'm sure there's women that are listening in right now. You never know, there might be a few VCs. So if they are, take note. But if you're a woman listening in and you're facing that challenge, you've been on the rounds and rounds of, going out there, pitching your idea and just not really getting anywhere. And I know from our conversations that we spoke about that you just got to a point where you just knew it wasn't going to work. So you went down an unconventional route. So for women listening in, what advice can you offer on raising kind of that initial seed investment? And I suppose what you did differently and how you went down that unconventional route to raise capital in the businesses that you've ran, and obviously the businesses that you've supported as well.
Sure. No, absolutely. Again, the choice was, do my dreams die, or do I create for myself another seat at the table? So I started to kick down barriers. And whilst not even realizing what I was doing, I started to network with high net worth individuals. And these are individuals that have excess capital. They are individuals that could possibly be they could be a doctor, they could be a dentist, they could be a sports personality, they could be, people in real estate, they could be celebrities, they could be your next door neighbor's friend who's just very wealthy, they could be somebody that's exited from a business, but they are just really ordinary people that have experienced great financial success. And the difference between a high net worth individual and a VC is that high net worth individuals are nowhere near as desensitized. They have so much sensitivity to the whole kind of human play and what it takes to really do that hard work. Because another thing that I would say about VCs, they sit across this table, they ask for all of these great grandeur documents, but they've never really been an entrepreneur. They don't know that experience. They're not in the trenches. And so with high net worth individuals, I started to find that they were so much easier to pitch. 90% of the time, they are individuals that are looking to diversify their portfolio. They don't just want to do stocks and bonds. They do want to get into sort of really fun and innovative new businesses. They enjoy investing in new trends. And so I started to just really network one person, another. This went on for over sort of 15 years. And I built a whole massive network database of high net worth individuals. And to be honest with you, Kelly, I've not been funded by a formal VC before. And I've raised over $30 million for myself and for other businesses. So they work. The conversations are lighter. The documentation that you have to send to them are a lot simpler. And to get a deal done is less complex. So if any woman is listening right now, I would suggest, having gone around, if you were like me, you've probably knocked on, goodness me, hundreds of VCs' doors and have been given so many no's that you're beginning to tear your hair out and just like get ready to just wave that white flag. Not quite yet, because there is another route. And that's why I created a whole course around it, which we'll talk about shortly. But if you are out there, there is another route where you can raise capital, your first seed round of capital, with high net worth individuals. And this could be anything from 25K right up as an individual to 250K, depending on what their resources are like. I've known people to have raised over $1 million with a high net worth individual. So it really is down to, what the business needs are, and being able to just talk and pitch and have that passion about your business and be able to present it in the most cohesive, not complicated, in the most cohesive way.
For people listening in, might be sitting there thinking, well, I just don't know these people. How would you go about finding a high net worth individual? What is it? How do you meet them? Like, where do you go? You mentioned obviously celebrities, sports personalities, doctors. Do you just go around asking people that you think, or is there a tried and tested way that you've done and that could work?
Well, they're probably closer than you think. I mean, they could be builders as well. There are a lot of people that have got a lot of excess capital that they can spend and invest into businesses. So they're probably closer than you think. But the wonderful thing that I do with the unsophisticated bag, if you don't mind, I'm just going to throw in the fact that, so the course that I've created, ladies, is the unsophisticated bag. And I've called it the unsophisticated bag because of the unsophisticated way that we go around raising capital. And one of the key things when I've joined accelerators, or I've known people to join an accelerator, or how to raise a capital program, they are not given any leads at all from VCs. So they get their pitches done, they get some of their materials all straight and looking good, they get their presentation decks already. But they go through this 6 weeks, sometimes 8 weeks, 12-week course on how to raise capital. And then that's it. Well, where do I go from here? Well, with the unsophisticated bag, I literally provide each one of my clients with over 100, an email database of over 100 high net worth individuals that are pointed to their particular business vertical. So if they were in real estate, or if they were in technology, or if they were in the subscription business, or if they were in e-commerce, the high net worth individuals that I give to you, I call it match made in heaven, actually, is matched particularly to your business. So, and what that means is that particular high net worth individual probably has already invested in that industry, has some philanthropy in that industry, some charitable interest in that industry, maybe working in an organization in that industry. But you get the opportunity to already be connected to somebody that not can only invest in your business, but somebody that already has an invested interest in the area of business that you're in. And I'm delighted, Kelly, that I've been able to spend a good couple of years really, really designing that and getting that right. And it seems to be working as a great resource. So that's what I do first of all. So you start off with that. But then in the course, I also teach you how to really find high net worth individuals through your LinkedIn. I teach you how to sort of network, how to get out there and network, and the types of events that you want to attend. So there are also other points, but I certainly don't leave you high and dry. By the time you're finished, not only do you have your own email database of over 100, which is quite a lot to have, to be honest with you, but you also have the tools in knowing how to continue to grow that email database so that you'll never stop knowing how to find a high net worth individual. Therefore, you'll never stop knowing how to raise capital.
Perfect. I think there's so many great ways there. And like you said, like there's a high net worth individual that's probably closer than you think. And if not, that database that you've built up of people that are interested potentially in that industry vertical would hopefully be able to support
That's right.
people, women that have challenged the whole VC route and just not been able to get there.
Yeah.
It's not that and 9 times it's not that their business isn't a good idea. It's just they're just not going to get any further forward because they're just in that challenging environment. There might be some women that are on listening in right now, or and thinking, do you know what? I've got this great idea. I've tried the VC. My confidence is really low. Speaking to someone like Jennifer, maybe looking at the unsophisticated bag as a course for them might be good for them. If there was someone sitting there thinking, I've tried all of this and I'm just not sure if it's right for me, and they've been down that route and, they just think, is it going to get me to where I want to be? What sort of, I mean, I know you've high leveled overviewed kind of what comes out of the course, but, what specifics would they get through going through that course with you? So obviously they get the database, they get the contacts, they get that ability to know how to network, which I think is absolutely huge. But what other essentials are covered in the program as well?
First of all, the program is 4 to 6 weeks, and I say 4 to 6 weeks only because it really is dependent. You can do it in 4, but I stay around for 6. I stay around for the extra 2 weeks. And it's broken down into 6 specific modules. It's one-to-one group coaching and one-to-one mentoring throughout the time. You have an introduction where I teach you the meaning, the term of what a high net worth individual is, the landscape, the trillions of dollars that are out there for high net worth individuals. I teach you just the beginning of how to identify one and where to find them. The other module is unlock the code. Now, you spoke about confidence because that's one of the main emotional segments that we lose as women when trying to raise capital and getting all this rejection and getting all this no. So I do something called unlock the code, where I really begin to teach and change your perspective on how to raise capital. It's sort of like the winning psychology of fundraising, just changing their perspective, moving it away from this negative place of, oh my gosh, I've tried so hard. I'm uninvestable. Nobody likes me. And I get you to write your TEMS, which is the entrepreneur's mission, TEM, the entrepreneur's mission. And what that is almost just like writing out your reason for being an entrepreneur, your reason, your mission statement, your personal reason why you get out of bed every day to run your new startup business. And that has been working wildly in terms of just unlocking your new perspective and potential. Decode the pitch is where we just recreate and tweak all of your key critical presentation deck. So I provide you with an elevator pitch, your executive summary, your entrepreneurial mission statement. And usually they are not produced from scratch because 90% of the time women have already a set of documents and presentations because they've already like a little bit into their business. The plug is where I teach you how to navigate the kind of world of high net worth individuals across social media. How do you connect with them there? Across Instagram, across Facebook, across, more importantly, LinkedIn. And then, of course, get your keys to the kingdom. And that is where I provide you with over 100 high net worth individuals that are particularly and specifically for your own personal business vertical. And for the next 2 weeks together, I mentor you guys through, you learn how to send your first email, you know how to connect with them on socials, you've got all of that information, and I stay around with you as you begin your outreach. And that's basically as simple as it is, but it's also very intentional. So we're seeing some really cool success, and I couldn't be happier.
It sounds amazing. And the fact that it's got that one-to-one mentoring piece as well. I think, women that have maybe, like you said, they've probably got some of their why and what it is that they're trying to achieve. It's not like they're building an idea from absolute scratch. The business is there. And 9 times out of 10, I'm sure the business is operating. It just needs that bump to take it to the next level. And the fact that you offer that one-to-one mentoring, I'm sure through that 4 to 6 weeks, not only are you supporting them on the business idea and getting that funding, but also building people back up, like you said, that confidence knock, when the confidence goes, to be able to build someone back up and get them back into a place to have that positive outcome. I'm sure that you're supporting many women, many entrepreneurs to really kind of excel and go forward. And as you mentioned before, I mean, raising over 30 million is no mean feat. So you're definitely someone who knows what they're doing. You've done it for your own businesses, and I know that you're supporting many women on that journey as well. So it's great to hear, and it's amazing to hear the work that you're doing. I know, in addition to Unsophisticated Bag, which focuses on winning capital, you also have an online kind of community, is that right, called the E100 Club? It would be interesting to know a little bit more about the E100 Club. And I suppose, how is that different to Unsophisticated Bag and the work that you're doing there?
So the Unsophisticated Bag, let me just to wrap that up. The Unsophisticated Bag is a premium course that's specific for women that are at that stage where they are looking for seed capital. And I'm going to give it a little bit of a plug. If you're interested, go to www.course-4, that's the numerical 4, you.com. That's www.course-4u.com. All the information is there. Everything that you need is there. And you can also do a Calendly with me if you want. I can give you some more information. Anything for Elevate Women in Tech. Kelly and I are working really close together, so I'm excited about that. The E100 clubs, I am so excited about that program, that project, because I've been working on it for about 18 months. And as an entrepreneur myself, one of the other things that I found, ladies, was that I, as a CEO, as a founder of a company, I didn't really keep up to speed with all of the changing other segments that a business needs to move forward. I was doing so much outsourcing. And what I mean by that, we hire social media players, we hire people for branding, we hire people for marketing, we hire people for every segment. And oftentimes, and that's not the issue, what I found that I needed to change was I didn't have enough knowledge and information around those processes to challenge sometimes the absolutely expensive charges that I was having to pay, that the company was having to pay to be able to have these outside third-party services. I wasn't able to challenge as much because I didn't know as much. In other words, I have kind of over my years come to find that it's so important as a leader, as a founder, to keep ahead of the game, to completely understand not what is happening in your business operationally, but for example, you've got this whole AI, whole ChatGPT in. If you're a founder, if you're a woman in business, get to know about all of that, because that's where the world is going. So the E100 Club basically is a paid membership academy for businesses, creators. You could be CEO, you could be a visionary, you could be a pathfinder, a pioneer, whatever you are. And it allows you to go to one platform, one marketplace where you can learn and re-educate yourself or brush up on your skills across every segment that makes the whole business economy turn around. So, for example, we've launched with 10 clubs. You've got your business to business club that is absolutely filled with every single thing you need to know about business. You've got your e-commerce club, you've got your branding club, you've got all things marketing club. You've got the creators club, you've got your social media club, learning all about social media, all in this beautiful one place, easy, accessible information. And we update it every single month. So it's robust, it's on trend, and it's curated by a number of world organizations and really smart business individuals from around the world. So I'm so excited about it. It's growing. And there are 3 tiers. So you can join at the first standard tier and just get one club. Let's say you just wanted a little bit more knowledge about branding or about marketing. Or you can go to your premium tier membership and you can join 3 clubs and do 3 courses around social media marketing and AI, for example. Or you can go to the all access club, which gives you all access to everything. And inside of all of that, there's so many more resources. There are ebooks, there are PLRs, templates. There's just a absolute robust of information at your fingertips in one place. The difference between the E100 Club and Unsophisticated Bag is simply that it's so much more affordable. And I wanted to find something that everybody could get an opportunity to get access to. It's so reasonably priced. It's worth investing a few dollars into, or a few pounds into, making sure that you stay at the cutting edge of this kind of ever changing world of business. I can reach more people with it because it's unlimited, the amount of members that we can have. So I think that in itself are the 2 major differences between the Unsophisticated Bag and the E100 Club. Plus, we're doing events and bringing on other CEOs to do really cool talks with the members and staff. And we're kicking that in first quarter of next year. But if you're a member, you'll have all of that information. You'll know it. But yeah, we're excited.
I mean, that sounds amazing, especially for businesses that are starting out. Maybe they're not at that point yet where they're looking to raise capital. It's a new idea, but they need that support in those different areas. And I like the fact that
Exactly.
It's like an information resource hub. I've tried and tested experience. It's been created by people from industry, with lots of knowledge, and kind of they've been there, done that. They've made those mistakes and they can share that knowledge forward. And I love that you can obviously choose different clubs to be part of. Is it a community as well where people can interact, or is it more like a learning resource centre?
Well, it's like a learning resource center at the moment, but we are, I mean, they're just, the members are calling to let's try and see if we can. So again, I think we were talking about it the other day, Kelly, sort of, like plug it into just the right technology to be able to create the community,
Yeah.
but it will be for sure. At the moment, the community is only coming together through when we're doing our group coaching and our live Q&As. But I want more than that. I want the members to be able to communicate and engage with each other. So again, we're just working on that component, but don't wait for that component to come. Still, if you're out there and you do want to learn a new skill or brush up on a current skill, what I love about the E100 Club is that you can do so in just a few weeks by taking one of those courses and just learn at your own pace, any place, any time, rather than, with all due respect to the educational institutions, by the time you finish their courses, the whole segment has changed. You need to learn something new, so that's another thing that we're excited about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We stay on the cutting edge with E100, so yeah, but building communities key and essential. So apart from us being able to get everybody together when we're on doing live Q&As, we want to go a step further now and get our community to engage with each other and support each other. So that I'm hoping to integrate in the next few months.
Brilliant. And it's great to hear that it's that ever evolving content growing. It's relevant.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you're right. The world is changing at a rapid pace. I think the world of
Oh, my
AI,
gosh.
how that's kind of coming in, that is
Oh,
just going to change everything that we've ever known, all the textbooks, all what you could learn if you went off to university. It is just going to be a completely different
absolutely.
ball game for setting up businesses, running businesses, and just, I don't know, living life. I think is going to change in the not too distant future as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Absolutely. And you've got to stay on that cutting edge, I mean, it's just so key now, and it's so important. It's going like a million miles per hour, Kelly. And if you're not able to find a resource center or hub or platform where you can just stay, stay relevant, stay in tune, stay educated, stay learning, then you will be left behind. So if you are interested, if ladies, if anyone of your audience are interested in the E100 Club, just go to E100Clubs with an S.com. That's www.e100clubs with an S.com. It's pretty cool. Check it out. And be great if you guys become a member. You'll find it really, really, really resourceful.
And we'll share all of the access to Jennifer on LinkedIn and the two programs that we've spoke about today, the E100 Club and Unsophisticated Bag, and how you can access more information on that on the podcast listing as well. So please do go and check that out. We're coming up towards the end of the time, and we spoke a little bit about this already. We spoke about the fact that female VC funding, it's tough. It's a tough world. It's hard to get. 2% of that money goes to women.
Yeah.
It's a shocking amount. And if we look at for women of color, Black female founders, that number is even lower. I think it's less than 1%. From your experiences, because you've been there, you've been on that side of it, why do you think women, especially women of colour, struggle so much to raise that capital? I know we've kind of delved into it already. And what do you think, and I suppose this is the key part of the question, what do you think needs to change within that VC world to make it more accessible for all? So these ideas that at the moment that are struggling to come through can really kind of make it through, and that VC dollar money is more evenly spread across the board.
I think for women, Kelly, and it's so sad, but I think there is still a very unfortunate perspective about women in business. VC raising capital is dominated by men, male. And as much as there is more support for females, there is nowhere near as much understanding and trust and faith in what we do as leaders, no matter what industry we're in. I think for Black women, it's worse because we're culturally different. It's just a cultural difference that they don't understand. There's a unfortunate, already kind of made up expectation of us, of maybe, I could be darker skinned, I could be lighter skinned. And that also depends and drives whether or not, or how far up the ladder I get, believe it or not. Even the texture of my hair. Do I have a long weave, or do I have this big froey afro that looks a bit more sort of like, it's really the most sad. And those little things absolutely do matter. And I think for Black women, lack of access to capital has just come through lack of faith, lack of the fact that we as a group, as a community of women, haven't had a great amount of success. So, for example, I work between London and Los Angeles, as you know, and in Los Angeles, in America, not just Los Angeles, in America, there are so many successful Black female entrepreneurs that you can look to and that you can see. In the UK, you're going to have to try and count them also on one hand. So that hasn't helped us build confidence in the VC community. But that still doesn't mean they shouldn't take a chance on us. That still doesn't mean that we don't know, how to run a business, how to create an idea, how to take it from ideation to marketplace. So I think it's about really just changing the perspective of how VCs think. And as a woman, whether you're a woman or a woman of color, I think it's really important to just stay with it. Don't give up. Stay with it. Find other female CEOs and founders to collaborate with, to talk to keep your confidence up. Find places where you can sharpen your skills and get better access to resources, more knowledge. Just stay on top of understanding the way they're expecting you to present your product, and don't stop building your product. Keep moving forward as much as you can. And I say that sometimes it's hard to, because you don't have the capital and it becomes this, oh my gosh, you're in this like rock and a hard place. But just keep on innovating. Don't stop innovating. Don't stop believing yourself, and don't stop trying to raise capital and knock their doors. Like I said, and even with the unsophisticated bag, Kel, if you don't want to have the mentoring with me, you don't want to join the calls, but you just want to buy a list of high net worth individuals, a database for your business, so you can also do that as well. So I just wouldn't give up. I think that's the main thing with me, my experience. I've just been so determined and so purposefully, I've so purposefully persevered, because I can't quit. And that's what I want to say to you ladies out there. It's tough. Some of us are mothers. We've got kids. We're wives, we've got husbands, we're the homemakers in our homes. And there's so many other things that we have to deal with, But in and amongst all of that, just like we don't quit on our kids, don't quit putting the dinner on the table, picking them up from school or whatever, we've got to have that same mindset with our business, right? Just don't quit and keep pushing, because it will pay off. It has done for me. It's been a tough journey, but it absolutely will pay off.
Brilliant. I love that. And I love that, that stay with it mindset, that stay with it mentality, and
yes.
Finding others. I'm very big on finding your tribe, finding your community, getting yourself involved with those
That's
people
right.
that build you up and support you through. And building a business is tough. So the fact that perspective that you give, that lived experience that you've actually been through as well, I think is great. And in your own words, don't stop building, don't stop innovating, keep on track and keep focused and stick with it. I think it's brilliant. So thank you very much for sharing a bit of your story today, insights from your own personal experiences, how you're helping the community, and options that you've got with the unsophisticated bag and the E100 club. So really appreciate you kind of spending some time and going through all of that. And for any listeners that are looking to connect with Jenny or one of her courses, like I said, all of that information will be put onto the podcast listing. So please check that out. I found Jennifer via LinkedIn. She's definitely active on there. So I'm sure if you reached out to her on LinkedIn, you'd be able to get access and be able to get through to her and have a conversation, which I'm sure should be open to. So really appreciate you being on here today, and thank you very much.
And Kelly, I've got to thank you. You're doing so much. Elevate Women in Tech. When I saw the title, I love the podcast, Elevate. And that's what it's about. You've just got to keep on growing, elevate. You've just got to keep on pushing, elevate. And I love the fact that you're out there with this podcast, providing, a really cool resource for women to be able to tap into. You're providing really key information, really supporting women in tech, because again, raising capital is one thing, women in tech is also another thing. So, can I just take a moment to celebrate you on behalf of your listeners and your audience? You're awesome. So you just keep on doing what you're doing. We're thankful to you. Stay in the game, girl, because you're changing it brick by brick. And that's what we're all here to do. We're a family, like you said, a tribe, and we're here to change it brick by brick. And that's what you're doing. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much for that appreciation being shown as well. Love it. But to our listeners, thank you for tuning in again for another episode of Elevate Women in Tech. Don't forget to subscribe to the channels that we're on for more insightful conversations with trailblazers in the tech industry. And also don't forget to join our Slack community group as well. All information is on the Elevate Women in Tech LinkedIn group and on our website as well. Thank you.